We get to the point where, secondly, we start grumbling and complaining. So you went from being dissatisfied within yourself to you verbally saying it out loud, start grumbling and complaining. Man, I hate this job, man. We ain't doing this and we ain't doing that. People ain't getting treated right. This management ain't about nothing. Then you get to the point where you verbally saying it out loud. Then next you get to the point where you bitter and resentful. I've been there. Ooh, I've been there. Where you had a job and you just bitter. And you to the point where you can't even help it. You verbally just like venom at your job. You're a good person. You really are. But you are so discontented with the job that you had that you get to the point where you bitter and you speaking that stuff out loud. Ooh wee. Baby, you better catch yourself. Welcome, family, to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast is that it will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we will be talking about on the Bacon Bits Podcast today is dealing with having a balanced life. And I need to hear you say it, y'all. Say it. Valuable information applied equals success. Yes, indeed. Lord have mercy. Yes. And man, what we're going to be talking about today is stinking thinking, negative thinking. It is imperative, man, that we have got to get to the point where we stop murmuring and complaining about where we really trying to go and what we're trying to solve. Murmuring and complaining distance us from the answers we are looking for to solve the problem. So sometimes we'll be complaining about our jobs when we know deep down there's a dream or a vision that we're supposed to be following. We'll be complaining about our relationships that we in instead of even solving the problem or knowing that you got to let that relationship go. It's time, man. We'll be murmuring and complaining about how our bodies is out of shape and we dealing with all this pain and this misery. When in all actuality, we need to just get a diet plan, we need to work out, and we need to get better rest. It's imperative that we stop complaining about, man, all the future problems we got and all the past decisions that we made were jacked up. I got to work on really getting to the point of living in the moment. I'm complaining about my life. I'm going through all this stuff, and I shouldn't be going through it. More than likely, there's something God is telling you to do, and you ain't doing it. So, man, I don't like murmuring and complaining, man. Negative thinking ain't going to get you nowhere. You are more than you think you are. You got to get that. You can do more than you think you can. And you can do more than what you think you can do. When you step into your true identity, you will have more than you ever imagined. We have got to understand what our identity is that we're supposed to be walking in. Because what ends up happening is insecurity is designed to get you to downplay what God wants you to display. Insecurity is designed to get you to downplay what God wants you to display. So a lot of times the very thing that we gifted in, we downplay it a lot. We downplay it a lot, man. I'm always going to use me because that's the only person I know for sure. But man, when you know, like you gifted to do something. So I love, like I said, encouraging and motivating people. I can do that over and over in my sleep. I just love doing it. But man, you tell me I don't be hearing voices of, well, you know you ain't got enough education. You know you don't know enough information. All I'm supposed to do is utilize what I already have and maximize that to the potential. And it's the same with a lot of you that's feeling insecure about, man, you be having great ideas at your business. Sometimes it's time for you to elevate into the company that you're working for because you got the gift. Yeah, you didn't think you could do management, but you got the gift to do management. You really do. You come up with some great ideas, and it's time for you to move up higher in the company. Some of you, it's time for you to take that risk and open up your own company. Yes, I know your heart leaped when you heard me say that. Because some of y'all was scared when I said that, and some of y'all was super happy when I said that, because you finally ready to take that leap of faith. What is so crazy to me is that we have 100% power over what we focus on, and what we can focus on is either negative or positive. You have 100% power over that. So you got to watch your thoughts on what am I thinking, man? I have all the control over that. Don't nobody pick your thought process but you. You at any time can stop yourself from thinking negative stuff, and you can always override the positive stuff that's going on in your life. You have 100% control over that. You get to choose. Nobody is forcing you to think any kind of way that you're thinking. You get to choose. So don't let the negative cause you to lose sight of the positive. Sometimes what we end up doing is we'll look at what's going on. We'll have our feelings all caught up in that thing that we're feeling about, but we're not going off of what we know within our hearts or what really supposed to be going on. So don't let the negative cause you to lose sight of the positive. When God blesses you with a harvest season in our lives, you know it's twice as much work as the planting season, right? That's the part that people don't get. Harvest season is twice as much work as the planting season. So the harvest season, guess what? You're supposed to get stoked. You're supposed to get excited. You see blessings coming your way. And I love this new thing that's happening in my life. Instead of me seeing triggers of things that might help me do the wrong thing, I'm starting to see glimmers of things that's showing me that I'm doing the right thing. So look for those glimmers in life that says, yeah, I'm going in the right direction. I heard somebody say this, that confirmed that I'm going in the right direction. I seen something happen that confirmed that I'm going in the right direction. So don't focus on the negative. Focus on the glimmers of positivity that's happening, the glimmers of you hearing God's voice saying this is what you're supposed to be doing. Because guess what? It is time for you to finally get into this season where you're supposed to be getting that harvest season. And everybody's seasons are different. But we love it because of the fruits that result from it. That harvest will show you, man, all that hard work, everything that you put into that scenario, that situation, you are finally finna see the fruit of all your hard work and your labor. So we gotta, guess what, say to ourselves, okay, I know it's gonna be twice as much work in the harvest season, but I have been looking for this. I've been waiting for this. I've been excited about this. But if we're not careful, we'll let the negativity of, man, I gotta do all this work. Okay. Isn't that the very thing that you prayed for? Some of us forget that the thing that we prayed for, we're actually operating in it. And now we complaining about it, which is crazy to me. But guess what? We do it because we're human. When you are confronted with making an important decision and you know what you should do, move out in faith. When you are confronted with making an important decision and you know what you should do, move out in faith. Focus on the positive of trusting God, and then also leaving the negative stuff with God. Okay? Because faith cometh by hearing. I told you sometimes we'll see stuff, and what we see is not what we really believe that we can have. And it's messing us up. We got to take our eyes off of what we see and say, you know what, I know within my heart of hearts, this is the area I'm supposed to be moving in. And we move in that direction because our eyesight sometimes causes us to lose focus. So you got to say to yourself, let me stop thinking about all this negative stuff and let me put forth the effort to focus on the positives. Because sometimes we become preoccupied with the problem when we should be looking for the opportunity. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes we become preoccupied with the problem when we should be looking for the opportunities. Because life is always, God is always showing us opportunities of how we can be moving in the direction that we need to move in. But we got to instead focus on the positive and focus on the opportunities. So watch out from focusing on the negative, and we should develop an attitude of expectancy. What was that again? Instead of focusing on the negative, we should develop an attitude of expectancy. Now, what is the definition of faith? Now faith. Yesterday's faith ain't gonna cut it. Now faith is the things that we are hoping for with the evidence of things not seen. What is faith again? Faith is the things that you're hoping for, what you're earnestly expecting, but you can't see it. So, ladies and gentlemen, my question to you is, what are you expecting? What are you speaking? If I'm expecting for this harvest season, the finances to blow up, guess what? I'm supposed to start speaking it. If I'm expecting to come into some great relationships where we partner on some things and I have great networking, that's been happening lately. We're supposed to be speaking on that. Man, I've been coming to some new ideas. I'm looking at my little TikTok videos and Instagram, and I'm seeing, man, I just need to start working on my health. Start working on that. That's a hint. There's a reason why stuff you keep seeing repeatedly happening in your life right now. That's a hint that you're supposed to be moving in that direction. But are we going to focus on the negative, or are we going to focus on the positive? Because as human beings, we have a tendency to accept opinion as facts. We have a tendency to accept opinions as facts. And we must be especially careful of voicing our negative opinions. Because family, how are we made in the image of God? We can speak stuff. We got to watch what we speak. I'm praying that you are speaking the word of God and that vision and that calling of what he said about you, not speaking negativity. What are you speaking over your life? Family, take some time to really be thinking about what have I been speaking over my life lately. Man, the winter season coming. Man, we usually catch colds around this time of year. We usually get the flu. You just prepared your body to accept the flu and the cold when you start speaking that stuff. Man, around this time every year, it's coming up on Christmas. So I got to spend all this money on my family and friends and get them all presents. And I ain't going to get nothing. What did you just say? Okay. Man, I'm always in these raggedy relationships. I am picking the wrong people. Hold on. So you picking the wrong people and you're the person that's picking the people. What are you speaking over your life? Take some time to really think about what you are speaking, because what we say heavily influences the actions of those we trust. It really focuses in on a lot of the things. Let me say it again. What we can heavily influence the actions of those who trust us to give advice. So there's some people around you that you love, but you've been giving them terrible advice. Because you've been giving them your opinion instead of what you know is really going on. We got to be super careful of that. Man, I've been having people around me lately that's been speaking some craziness. And I'll be like, I can't be around this right now because my spirit don't agree with all this foolishness. So guess what? I make the choice to remove myself from the situation. Sometimes you got to speak on it. Yeah, that's important, but not always. Choose your battles and see what you're going to speak on and what you're going to let just go by. Because when people decide they want to be negative, guess what? They have every right to be negative because that's what they want to be. Because it is so easy to lose perspective when you see things the way they are. And we get caught up in our emotions instead of going off of what God said. It is so easy to see what's in front of you, say our negative opinions about it, instead of saying, you know what, I can fix this by looking for the solution, looking for the positivity in it, looking for the opportunities to change it. We get to change that negative thinking and put it on a whole different course. And this is some of the stuff that we got to watch out for in our negative thinking, because what ends up happening is we become dissatisfied and skeptic. We have skepticism. We become dissatisfied. We ain't happy with the situation. We know we there. We had a job we've been working at. We ain't getting appreciated like we deserve to get appreciated. Ain't nobody giving us no kudos. We putting the work in, doing what we supposed to be doing, but ain't nobody, giving us what we need. So we become dissatisfied at the job. Just disgruntled. We get to the point where, secondly, we start grumbling and complaining. So you went from being dissatisfied within yourself to you verbally saying it out loud, start grumbling and complaining. Man, I hate this job, man. We ain't doing this and we ain't doing that. People ain't getting treated right. This management ain't about nothing. Then you get to the point where you verbally saying it out loud. Then next you get to the point where you bitter and resentful. I've been there. I've been there. Where you had a job and you just bitter. And you to the point where you can't even help it. You verbally just like venom at your job. You a good person. You really are. But you are so discontented with the job that you had that you get to the point where you bitter and you speaking that stuff out loud. Ooh-wee. Baby, you better catch yourself. Because when you get to that point, you're going to start getting hostile and you're going to start rebelling just to be rebelling. Like it got to the point where you was dissatisfied inside yourself. Then you start verbally saying it out loud. And then you went to the point where you started being a rebel at your job because you were so dissatisfied. And who's the person that's being dissatisfied? You. Can you leave that job 100% of the time? Yes. I ain't say 90 or 95%. 100% of the time we can leave the job. But I ain't going to have no money. Okay, what we can do is stop complaining, stop murmuring at that job. Be grateful and have an attitude of gratitude. I got some money coming in. There's a reason why I wanted this job in the first place. Now, in the process, I need you looking for another job. In the process, I need you to go back to school and get your education. In the process, I need you to be looking into what opportunities you can do to start your own business in that area. What is it? It ain't just about complaining and murmuring. It ain't just about being bitter and dissatisfied. It ain't about grumbling and complaining. It is, what are you going to do about the situation? Because when you get to that part of your life, when you being that negative at, just saying your job, because that's what we're focusing on, you got to be aware of that, man. You got to be aware of that, because you are literally eating yourself up when you get to that point in your life that you letting all that happen. You are eating, you're physically eating your body up. You're mentally having deteriorating thoughts that's really deteriorating your brain, because you're not using your brain to the highest capacity, because you're using it to complain and be hostile and to rebel. You got to get to the point where I got to stop this negative thinking. I got to stop knowing that, guess what? If I've only seen negative relationships in my life, I don't know how it is to be healthy. I need to get around healthy people so I can see and hear how it is to have a healthy life. I want to see that. I want to be around that. There's areas in your life, man. I want you to really, man, take some inventory. What kind of people are you hanging around? Are you hanging around people that just always complain and murmur? They disgruntled. Look at the people around you. They are a great indication of where your mindset is at. And if I'm not happy with that mindset, I need to stop this negative thinking, this stinking thinking. Get around people who are like-minded or even higher-minded than where I'm at right now. And they are actually demonstrating the potential of what I could possibly be. I need to get around like-minded or higher-minded people that will help me transition my thinking, because I acknowledge that's one of the most beautiful things you can do. I acknowledge that I am in a negative season right now. Now, unless you're a narcissist, I mean, God bless you. You got some work to do. But man, if you are a typical person, you can take full responsibility and say, I need to accept that I have been super negative where I'm at in my life right now. I need to transition my thinking to another level. That's why we are blessed with YouTube. We're blessed with other social media. We can go pick up a book at any time, go to that library and get you a free book, because sometimes having that book in your hand is a blessing, because you get to highlight the stuff not on the paper. You can take notes. But look at the book. You can see visually some of the thought processes of how I can change my thinking so I can think better. Because, man, my thinking process is jacked. I have been so down, so depressed. Why is that? Because of the people I've been hanging around, the environment I'm in, and my own personal thought processes. Look at them three ingredients, man, because they're super important. The people I've been hanging around, the environment I'm in, and my own personal thought process. If I can start changing those 1% at a time, like I said, it ain't got to be something major, man. The initial thought process is a quick snap of the fingers, and you can change your thought process. Now, maintaining that thought process is going to be some work, because you've been thinking like that for so long. You got to slow yourself down and watch the thinking process. So, okay, let me take this one person out of my life and let me go find somebody to replace them. Because y'all know I'm big on, if you do yes, you got to say no. You got to say no, say yes. If you take something out, you got to put something in. Don't just leave something empty. You got to replace it. So take one person out and then hang around somebody. Go find somebody, prayerfully even older than you. And then you'll find a way just to hang out with them. Just, you know what, let's go out for coffee. Let's if there's any way I can just be in your presence and just hang out with you. We ain't got to talk about nothing deep. I just need to be around people that their thought process is just totally different from where mine is at this current moment. And I'm willing to think better than where I'm at, because I know where I'm at is really ticking me off. And the only person that I'm really ticked off at is me. It really is me. Family gonna be family. Just gotta deal with that. Friends, you get to pick. Jobs, you get to change. But when it's all said and done, what is my thought process on this whole thing? So I want to convert that from negative to positive thinking. I want to exchange that negative, low down, dirty, filthy thinking and change it over to something positive, encouraging, uplifting, like these wonderful Bacon Bits podcasts. So, hey, I'm just having to throw this out there because it's crossing my mind. Hey, I need you to go on there and like these podcasts. I need you to go on there and download an episode. Some of y'all know some friends that need to hear one of these episodes. You know they need to hear it. You be like, soon as I started talking about it, you was like, ooh, I know these people need to hear this right here. I need you to download an episode and send it to them. Oh, don't wait till this podcast is over. I need you to do it right now. Literally, go back, find your episode of what you know your friends and family needed to hear. The cool part is you ain't have to say it. You could use me as your scapegoat of, did you hear what he said? You ain't even have to say it yourself. You could be like, that dude was talking about something right there. Right now, stop the podcast. Go find the episode that you need to go download and send it to one of your friends. You'll be grateful that you did that. All right, back to the podcast. So, family, I love you. I want so much for you. Please, if you know you're thinking negative, please catch yourself. Accept it. I am thinking negative. Okay, what can I do to replace the negative thinking that I have? With one just new step that I can do today at this moment. I want you to be in the present moment. I don't want you to think about all the past mistakes that was jacked up, that was negative. That's over. You can't go back and change it. But I can, at all times, pick this one moment right here and say, today, I am going to marinate on this one thought all day. Whatever that thought is. And I'm just going to throw one out there for you in case you can't think of one. So I told you this is one thought that radically changed my life forever. What you can tolerate, you can't change. I'm going to say it again. What you can tolerate, you can't change. I like to say stuff 3 times. One for the Father, one for the Son, one for the Holy Spirit. What you can tolerate, you can't change. If you're tolerating that job that you at, you can't change it. If you tolerate being mistreated in a relationship, you can't change it. If you're tolerating where your health is at and you know you want it to be better, you can't change. You just can't tolerate it. You got to say, I want to do something about it. I know my mental state has not been right, but I ain't done nothing to change it. I've been tolerating it. I know I want to get closer to God. I need to go back to church. I need to start praying. I need to start reading my Bible. But if you can tolerate it, you can't change it. We got to go back and change those things that we know we can so we can have the life that we say we want. Let's stop being negative and get on that positive tip. This is your boy John Bacon with another segment of Bacon Bits. I love you. God bless.